Good. Hey guys, this is Kevin Gain, Team Losi Racing. We're here for episode 13 of In Touch with TLR. We're going to continue to talk about the new 8ight-X because it's our new flagship 8-scale vehicle. We're really excited about it. Some of the really cool features that the engineering team put into it was, really making the car a lot easier to work on. That was one of the biggest flaws we had with our previous 8-scale vehicles. So we want to continue to keep showing you how easy it is to work on this car, how easy it is to get to the most critical parts of the car that was really difficult before. We've talked about the center diff, we've talked about the rear diff, how easy it was last week to get out. If you haven't seen those videos, go back into the YouTube channel, Team Losi Racing YouTube channel. Make sure you check out those videos. There's a link there, In Touch with TLR. It has all the videos that we've been doing every week. You can go back, you can see how the center diff is, you can see how the rear diff is. Today we're going to talk about the front diff, another one that's really easy to get to. It's probably the easiest one of all of them to get to. I do want to make one thing clear with this video. We are making a modification to what's on this vehicle itself. If you can see here, we'll get you a zoom in close here. So you can see that the sway bar right now is going over the top of these two screws that are critical to get to basically pull the diff out. We made a modification. We extended these out 2 millimeters so you can get in there and get to those two screws without having to remove the sway bar. Unfortunately, in this video, I'm going to have to remove the sway bar, but when this thing comes in the box, you won't have to. It'll be super easy. I'll show you first, explain to you what you'll have to do first, and then we'll go from there. So you don't even have to take the tires off. The first thing you are going to have to do with the front diff is you're going to have to remove the bottom of the shocks, unlike the rear. And that's just so when you pull the diff out, you can get the dog bone sweep out enough to where the diff will slide right out. So all you have to do is remove the bottom of the shocks only. Whoop. Just like so. And you'll remove the shocks. What I like to do is if you take the shocks up here, you can just click them over and they'll stay. They just kind of get stuck on the springs. That way they won't flop around and be really in your way at all. The next thing that you're going to do is you would just take and loosen these set screws on the sway bar on the link here. Just slightly loosen those up. And what you do is we're going to slide the sway bar out of the link here. If you want, you can remove the sway bars from the arms back here and remove the whole link. I find it just as easy or easier to just loosen up these set screws a little bit. And it comes off really easy that way. So then what you would normally do is remove these 4 screws and the 2 screws here, and this would slide off with the sway bar and everything connected. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to remove the sway bar here. I already removed 2 screws just to make this video a little faster for you guys. But this step right here that I'm actually doing, you won't need to do in the future. But I will do it now. Here. So we'll slide the sway bar off. I'll have to take it off completely, but like I said, you guys won't have to do that. Then, you guys are just going to remove 4 screws here. Oops. 4 screws. Then you're going to have these 2 screws that are going to come straight down. And you will slide the diff right out. Probably pull the body out here when we go to put it back together. So then you can see your diff sitting here now. Everything, it was very simple to get to. You're going to see the diff just slides right out, just like that. It's really easy. Like I've said in the videos before, with how easy it is to get to the diffs, you're going to find yourselves, probably playing with diff oils a little bit more. Before, if you wanted to change, 1,000 weight of oil or 2,000 weight oil, you're kind of over it because, it was a pretty big process before to get to the diffs and kind of work on them. But now with with it so easy and so quickly to get to all of the diffs in the car, you're going to find yourself playing with diffs just like you would shock oils, which is a good thing. It allows you to really fine-tune your car more in a quicker amount of time. So it's pretty neat. I think that, I mean, I spent a couple weeks working on the car with the team, and I was really stoked, and I was really impressed with how easy it was to do things and the amount of less stress that you had if you wanted to do something on the car. So I think the guys, you know, Ryan Dunford and Brian Kinney, they did an amazing job with, you know, making this car super easy to work on, which is a big plus for 8-scale racing. As we know, 8-scale racing is probably one of the most demanding classes that we race as far as, you know, maintenance and preparation and all that stuff in the cars. So it's a big plus, guys. You guys are really going to enjoy it. So we'll throw this back together real quick. Same way we took it apart. It's really easy. Throw the dog bones into the diff. Diff falls right back in almost all on its own. You're going to take the cover here. We'll probably just remove these screws to make it a little bit easier. But the diff cover slides right in. Pops in just like that. And then you just throw the screws all back in the car. Just like we took them out. Shaky today. That's it, guys. That's pretty much it. Diff's back in the vehicle. Throw the sway bar back on. Like I said, this will be a little bit easier of a process because the sway bar will be attached to the actual diff case. And we will get into some Q&As here in a minute with all you guys. Talk about the 8-scale, talk about 8-scale racing. I'll just throw this thing back together here so we don't have it all apart, and go from there. I hope everybody's enjoying these videos that we've been doing, and I hope that you guys can hear me. We don't have the microphone today, but it's been going pretty good. That's it. Completely back together and ready to go. So, hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope you guys are excited about the new buggy. Let's get into some Q&A right now, and we will chit-chat about it. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, no problem.
Alright, guys, give me just a second here. I'm going to get on the page here so I can see any questions that you guys might have. Alright, guys. Alright, so let's get through the questions. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you hear me right now? I normally have a microphone, but unfortunately it was out of the mics out of the office that's at RC, the Axial Fest this weekend. So I'm kind of just winging it with the phone right now. But we'll get into some questions here. Let's see. So, Vinny, are you still running 13-tooth clutch bells? Yes, we're still using a 13-tooth clutch bell and still a 48-tooth spur gear. It's got the same gearing options as our previous 4.0 buggy. All that's been good. It uses the same gear ratio in the diffs as well. So nothing has changed in the gear ratio overall. Why is the front and rear diff removal so much different from each other? Neither method is bad, but at least with brand A and M at the front and rear comes out in the same way. It just doesn't seem advantage of rear being a different. So the reason why they are different and they don't come apart the same way, it was because the way that the rear end was going together and the way that it was designed, that it was easier for us to get it apart that way versus how the front is. The front's really easy, it can come right off. But the rear, the way it was set up with the pivot, we weren't able to make it happen. And we didn't want, the most important thing that we didn't want to do was have to remove the pivot from the vehicle. And that way it allows all the suspension, all the arms to stay together. So that was the reason why they did it the way they did it. Because the way our rear end is set up and the geometry of our rear end, it made it very difficult to be able to split it and come apart the same way as the front diff. So that was the reason why. And we wanted to have easy access to get to the pinion gear, which is a critical thing on 8 scale. So you can literally split it and change the ring and pinion without having to take the whole car apart. So it just made it a lot easier, and we felt more confident in the way we set it up this way. And we like to do things a little differently. We don't want to try and copy and do what everybody else is doing, so we wanted to put our own flavor on it. How often do you change bearings in the clutch? So clutch belt bearings are one of those most critical things. I mean, they get a lot of heat in them. We change them quite often. I mean, any race that we go to, we'll change them out, and we'll have new ones in for qualifying, and then we'll have new ones in for the main event. If you're just running your car, you want to, probably about a half a gallon. You want to check the bearings and make sure that they're free. If they feel kind of gritty or they feel dry, then I suggest changing the bearings out. But if you're racing and you're running at the racetrack a lot, then I would change them out for at least every race. I mean, it's not worth the chance. Have you answered this question to me in a private chat? But just in case others don't know, will the 4.0 starter box work on the X? Yes, we're making the box right now currently works perfectly fine on the 8ight-X, the current box. We are going to make a slight modification to just move the wheel a little tiny bit, and it works even better. So there will be a slight modification, but the box right now works. You just have to push it a little bit forward to make it work perfectly. What power drill is that? My favorite tool ever. It's the Makita. I love this wrench. It's my, I've used, different ones in the past, but this one just gets it done. It's got a ratcheting feature to it, so I always know when to stop, and it has a lot of power. I mean, it's super fast. I like this. This one's my favorite. It also comes in white too, but you have to pay extra for it. How is the shimming with the new diff cases? The shimming's a little different. So the front diff, you don't shim at all. It'll be just like our other one. You just slide it in. It's a perfect fit and ready to go. The rear, I don't recall off the top of my head what the shimming is on it yet. I believe it's like two on the inside and 1 on the outside. It's real similar to what our old 4.0 shimming was, but I believe it is slightly different. We'll have all that information and everything all in detail once this thing ships and it gets out in everybody's hands. We'll make sure everybody's fully on board and knows what they're doing with it. Yeah, TKO clutch bearings are good bearings. Is the project shipping date still mid and late October? I am not sure on those dates. It's not my department exactly, but we will be keeping everybody updated, all that stuff. Everything's moving along, and we're getting there. At least every race day, and possibly mains. I hope. The 8ight-X. We're committed to everything, guys. Like I've always said, we're very committed to just about to all the classes. So yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff going on. We're going to be focusing a whole lot on 8 scale moving forward. We're going to be really ramping up our 8 scale team. We're going to be ramping up the events and the different races that we go to. Our support level is going to go through the roof. We're going to be very, very active in 8 scale. Not that we haven't been in the past, but you're going to see a much bigger presence from Team Losi Racing. We're super excited about the new car. This is our new flagship moving forward. We're going to work from here. We're excited about it. It's got the most up-to-date geometry. We feel really, really good about it. Still learning every day about the car. We'll continue to do that for probably the next 6-7 months. We're going to continue to learn and figure out new things. It's all new geometry for us, so it's stuff that we've put into play in our testing. But now that getting it to our race team and all of that, we got to see the different flavors and the different stuff with each individual driver, and we got to adapt the setup to each individual driver and figure out what's working, what works for them. So that's really what we've been focusing and working on lately. But yeah, it's been going really good. You guys got any more questions for me this week? This will be my first fray into the Nitro class and can't wait. Adam, that's awesome, man. Super stoked. Do the plan on making 8X8E buggy? Dale, we are committed to everything, man. We're in this, and we're committed, so I hope that answers your question. So, Adam Rose, I only ran electric for 20 plus years. I fought the idea of Nitro. It's a lot more work, but a lot more fun. Yeah, Nitro racing to me is my favorite. It's my favorite form of racing. It's just, it takes a little bit more time, but the gratification of at the track and the experience that you get, you know, with the engine running, the smoke, just outdoors. To me, in my personal opinion, I like 8 scale. That's where I came from, was racing 8 scale. I love 8 scale. It's just a lot of fun, and the intensity is a lot higher, and you run for a much longer period of time. So I really enjoy 8 scale. I wouldn't say I enjoy pitting 8 scale, but I enjoy racing 8 scale. Off topic, but new 110 4-wheel drive coming. We're committed to everything, guys. The tank size is 125 cc's. It's the same size as our previous tank. It's within ROAR legal rules or IFMAR rules. So yeah, it's all good. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's on the bottom of on the front of the tank up here, there's a hole that goes down and it comes out the bottom of the chassis right here. And that is a splash guard, and it basically relieves the fuel that if you were to splash any fuel up here, it relieves the fuel, it gets the fuel out of there and out the bottom of the chassis, which is a pretty cool little thing that's been helping out. Yeah, we're going to be ramping up some races, guys, so you guys should be able to see the 8 here in person pretty soon. We're going to be hitting some races and hitting some stuff, getting ourselves prepared for the IFMAR Worlds in November. So we're going to be focusing a lot of time on 8 scale, and you guys are going to be seeing us quite a bit at the track. We're going to be giving a lot of feedback once we really get ramped up. We get some more parts and we get some more cars into the office here. So we can get more of our team guys running it and get ourselves prepared for the World Championship. So there's going to be a lot more videos. There's going to be a lot more track time. We're going to have setup sheets all put together. You know, we'll probably get setup sheets out in advance so people can start studying them and kind of knowing already what's going on. But yeah, we're going to be prepared for you guys. Kenneth, so will base setups work for all tracks with minimal changes? I mean, that's our plan. I mean, that's always the plan, right? I mean, the plan is to have the car to be where it's very neutral, across a broad band of tracks and having, minimal setup changes. That's absolutely our goal. We're pretty close to that right now. We've been nailing it down since the Nationals. We've been hitting a lot of different tracks and really trying to find that neutral setup. So that's where our focus has been right now, is just finding that neutral setup, finding between a few different drivers, so it's not just pinpointed on one particular driver. We're trying to use a broad of like 3 or 4 different drivers to kind of nail down that neutral setup between the 3, and then we kind of combine that together. But that's our plan, and that's what we are focusing on right now, is nailing down that neutral setup for the car. We're really close. We feel really confident in it. We've learned a lot about the car since the Nationals. The setup's completely different. And we're just going to keep going, and things are going to change probably for the next few months, 3-4 months, if not more, because we're just going to continue to learn what the car likes and what we like, what we want the car to do, what we don't want the car to do. So it's just a learning process. Whenever you have something ground up new, like I said, the geometry in the car, there's not a single point of the geometry that's the same as our old car. So at that point, you do your testing to develop the car, and then you do your setup stuff, and that's where we're at right now. But we feel really good about it. We're really stoked. Wicked Weekend. I think there's something going on that same weekend as Wicked Weekend. I think I brought that up so we could go to it. But I have to check my calendar. I thought there was something going on the same weekend. Need to get your phone on Do Not Disturb. Sorry, Bradley. I'll make sure I do that in the next video. I have it on silent. I didn't realize it was vibrating. I apologize for that, guys. Alright, guys. A couple more minutes. We'll answer a few more questions, and then we're off for today. And then next week we're going to talk, I don't know, leave in the comments what you guys would like to talk about next week, and we'll talk about it. Anything that's super cool we'll bring up and we'll talk about next week. It doesn't have to be 8 scale. Maybe next week we can talk about some 10 scale stuff. So let me know what you guys think, and put it in the comments. I'll look at it later, and we'll put a cool video, or we'll talk about something cool next week. Let's see here, guys. Why is the front and rear? That's the same. Alright, guys, I don't... Oops. Are you still running 13.2? Alright, guys, I don't see any more questions on here. Or they're not coming up, one or the other. But alright, guys, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'll look back in the comments and answer some more of your guys' questions later on this afternoon or tomorrow. But like I said, if you have any questions or anything you guys want to talk about next week or in the following week's videos, put them in the comments below and we'll talk about them. Be cool. Maybe discuss how do you think X setup will be emulsion shock or bladder shock. I'll tell you right now, on the 8X we've been running emulsion, and we've been liking emulsion. It seems to just go through the bumps better. The emulsion shocks do. The bladder shocks do, I think, maybe land a little bit better. But overall, this car has been liking the emulsion shocks a little bit better than, I would say, bladder. So that's where we've been with it. We've been emulsion. It is also still driver preference. I think emulsion drives a little bit deader feeling, a little bit number. where a bladder shock is more responsive feeling. So it's just driver preference, but so far it's been emulsion. What made you go call it 8X versus the 5.0? Ethan, actually the 8X, I am not sure. That's something that the marketing department comes up with. I'm not sure. I wasn't part of those things, so I'm sure they had a reason. I kind of like it better than 5.0. Kind of has a better ring to it. I think it had something to do with that it's no longer, you know, the old 8, so it's no longer part of that kind of, you know, line of, you know, the original 8. This is a new car, and I think the X was to kind of basically separate it and make you know, let everybody know that it's something new from ground up. So that's I think that's probably the logic behind it. Can the 4.0 diffs be used in the 8X? Yes, the 4.0 or parts of it. So you can't just take your 4.0 diff and put it in there. The front has a different ring gear. The rear has the same ring and pinion gear, but the outdrives are different on the car. So it has different outdrives. But the diff cup itself is the same. You can use that. All the internal gears are the same because our diff is the best on the market. So parts of it, yes, you know, but overall you can't just take them out of your car and put them right in. Probably because it's a whole new build, not just modified from a 4.0. Are they working on a new e-buggy? Okay. Alright guys, I really appreciate it. We are done for this week. I've heard numerous times that tires are a large portion of setup. I'd like to see a video on choosing the right compound tread. TLR cars would be very informative. Brian, yeah, we can do that. I think that's a great video. We'll do that for sure. I think you're absolutely right. Tires are 90% of the setup. That's no joke. Your car could be absolutely dialed, but if you have the wrong tire, it's not going to be a good weekend. So I think that's a great video, and I think a video like that I think would be really cool if we actually had Dakota Fend on the video and let Dakota Fend actually talk to you guys about how he chooses tires for certain conditions. If you guys would like to have Dakota on this video with me talking about that stuff, I think that would be great. We can just do a whole episode just about 8-scale tires and 10-scale tires and tire preparation. If you guys like that, give me a thumbs up. We'll definitely make that happen. If you guys want to see Dakota Fend on here, we'll make that happen too. So awesome, guys. Thank you very much. We're out of here for today. We'll see you guys next week, and maybe we'll have that video with the tires up and ready if I can get Dakota on board. So thanks, guys. See you later.